Hello people, welcome to the TTP YouTube channel. Brooklyn church leader Lamor Whitehead, who is well known for a flashy lifestyle and friendship with the mayor of New York City, is selling his Paramus mansion. Previously unavailable for purchase, the pastor's home is now going for a starting price of $2.99 million. The lowest for this house was previously $838,900. He purchased it himself in 2019 for $1.6 million. If you want more real estate content, TTP member, subscribe to the TTP YouTube channel and hit the notification bell. The mansion was on the market after Whitehead was robbed at gunpoint. He had just delivered a church sermon that was streamed live on social media. Armed robbers robbed leaders at a church in Paramus, and a video of the robbery has gone viral. This gorgeous home has nearly 9,000 square feet and is located in low-tax town of Paramus. Features include a marble entryway, natural lighting, heated floors, Bosch appliances in the kitchen, a stone fireplace in the living room, and 6 spacious bedrooms. The basement features a luxurious custom closet with a soundproof theater, gym, and hair salon. Security throughout the entire house and top-of-the-line Sonos speakers that can play music simultaneously with one click. The pastor has also been accused of fraud by one of the church congregation. The person said that the pastor took $90,000 from her and he denies it. Now the pastor faces foreclosure on apartments he owns in Hartford for about $4.5 million. In the past, before he became a preacher, Whitehead spent 5 years in prison and still owes money on luxury cars and home builders. The New York Times reported these facts. The preacher, who is from Jersey, lives in a large home that has 6 bedrooms and 7 bathrooms. The space is encompassed with bubble-height ceilings, a marble entryway, and a radiant heated floors all throughout. The main floor has a kitchen with Bosch appliances and a large island. It connects to the living room. The living room includes an elegant stone fireplace and chandelier. Whitehead streams prayer services on Instagram to his 1.6 million followers and can be seen from the entryway. A posh bedroom features a shoe closet and has rows and rows of footwear. Deluxe details on the lower level include a soundproof theater, gym, hair salon, and game room. Outside, a grassy fenced lawn has a patio with one barbecue and a dining area. The New Jersey location is convenient for Manhattan commuters and close to major shopping. Lamor Whitehead is a religious leader who has close connections to the New York City mayor. He is often seen flaunting his wealth despite being a convicted felon, and in July 2022, during morning service, he and his wife were robbed at gunpoint. Matt Whitehead was born in 1978, raised by Arthur Miller, who died in police custody. He studied accounting and videography at Eastern New Mexico University before returning to New York and beginning a career as a mortgage broker. He later studied at New York Theological Seminary and became an ordained minister with endorsements in counseling families, conducting weddings, and funerals. Suffolk County, New York police received complaints from 9 residents who claimed their identities had been used to purchase Range Rover cars. After arresting one suspect, the newly formed Identity Theft Investigation Unit began to pursue Whitehead. Whitehead originally lived in Teaneck, New Jersey, but was arrested in New York City. He had committed fraud and identity theft over the span of 4 years. There were multiple victims found in various states, including Tennessee and Georgia. He has been charged with multiple counts of identity theft. One of Whitehead's parishioners sued him for stealing $90,000 in 2021. They sent a letter and a draft to the parish house and claimed that he agreed to help them purchase a home. Adams and Whitehead are friends. The relationship began Adams was borough president, but they became good friends in 2016. When Whitehead falsely claimed to have worked with a Brooklyn district attorney, Adams introduced him as a friend and brother. Adams also presented Whitehead's mother with an honorary citation and gave a key to Brooklyn to Foxy Brown. In 2022, Whitehead was thought to have met with Adams in order to assist the surrender of a man suspected of shooting another rider on the subway. He arrived to submit the surrenderer driving his gray Rolls-Royce. Whitehead was well known for his displays of wealth, which he showed in a low-income area. In 2015, Whitehead was arrested twice on abuse claims. Charges were dismissed in all instances. The nonprofit You Are a Champion Empowerment Network was created by Asia Doe Rice Whitehead following her diagnosis with Guillain-Barré syndrome. Alan Whitehead owned a home in Paramus, New Jersey, and had defaulted on a $4.5 million mortgage on the property. Bishop Lamor Miller Whitehead is a visionary with a shepherd's heart. He is also a dynamic preacher, motivational speaker, social activist, community leader, and entrepreneur. Bishop Whitehead's mother was both father and mother to him, as Bishop Whitehead's father was murdered when he was 6 months old. This resulted in the killing of 16 police officers and the conviction of Bishop Whitehead's father on trumped-up charges at the age of 6 months old. Growing up during the mean streets of Brooklyn and being raised by a single-parent house was not easy. Bishop Whitehead could relate to many young men today because he overcame his obstacles and became an athlete and went on to attend 3 different colleges. The focus of his studies being accounting, videography, ministry and human services through the NYAC College accredited institution Rising Hope Incorporated, New York State licensed chaplain and certified marriage and funeral officiant. A wealth of knowledge when it comes to the meaning of life is one thing. Bishop Whitehead has a unique ability of relating that to his generation's culture with communities, and always will be ready to learn from experience. Bishop Whitehead, who was the first African-American Catholic bishop of the Archdiocese of Philadelphia, had a difficult time when he was incarcerated for illegally receiving compensation and special treatment in annuitized payments. Despite this, Bishop Whitehead still tested his faith and as he went through daily struggles. Bishop Whitehead is as a successful business consultant with varied experience, including working in the real estate and mortgage industries. His influence has spread from his involvement in politics to finance sectors, and he sought for consultation by prominent people who want his endorsement as well as his help with their campaigns. Whitehead is most grateful for his upbringing in the church, where he learned to love and serve God at Universal Temple under the leadership of Landon E. Penn. He went on to serve under the leadership of Albert Jamieson, who ordained him as a minister in 2006. Bishop Whitehead has a genuine love for people. In 2013, he founded Leaders of Tomorrow in Brooklyn, New York, with the support of 43 other people, and they met in his home to study the Bible. The ministry grew and started making an impact on both the lives of those who attended and their community. Leaders of Tomorrow ministry gives people spiritual empowerment, life education, cultural exposure, political activation, economic awareness, and connection. This can all lead to them changing their minds into a new direction, one that is renewed. He believes that Christians should not only be spiritually empowered, but also economically empowered. His preaching and teaching focuses on how through these key elements, it will provide believers with hope. Bridges focuses on developing his members educationally, exposing them culturally, activating them politically, and strengthening them economically. Bishop Whitehead was commissioned by God to take his ministry beyond the constraints of the church, and for this reason, he has committed to serving his community by directing several initiatives. He is currently working with Brooklyn Borough President Eric Adams. Bishop Whitehead is responsible for the youth division of the Brooklyn Borough President Eric L. Adams in Brooklyn, New York City, where he organized initiatives such as the Stop Violence Initiative and the LOTB Speaking Tour. He has also been featured in several publications, including 107.5 WBLS, Fox 5 News, USA Today, Hip Hop Weekly, among others. He also appeared on ABC News and more. Bishop Whitehead is confident in the Word of God and believes that purpose is found in pain, made possible by God's love and grace. His life has been a witness to countless people that transformation through God's love and grace is indeed possible, enabling him to find great joy. His work today is to now share his wealth of knowledge through the gifts God has given him to empower, inspire, as well as assist others in finding their purpose. By understanding you possess, one can attain their promise. When all is said and done, Bishop Whitehead can always be heard saying, "To God be the glory." Jaden L. is the lovely daughter of Bishop Lamor M. Whitehead, who has a loving family with 2 amazing children. While live streaming a service on July 24th, 3 masked and armed men broke into robbing many chains and rings that were of high value. The preacher said that he couldn't have been back in the pulpit if God didn't allow it, as the devil did not want him back. Whitehead reenacted the robbery twice. The robbery led people to wonder how a preacher with a small congregation could have this expensive jewelry on him, when some thought he knew the robbers were coming or even helping them plan the robbery. He dismissed the question that jewelry is insured as legal. Bishop Whitehead gets robbed, and then during a live show, the pastors laughed at his church. He joined the show and then used a slur against gay people. At the same time, people from his past were coming to the surface. Whitehead had spent time in prison and even accused of taking money from people he knew. Court records from Jersey show he owes more than $400,000 in judgments to a construction company that built his home and the credit union that financed his Mercedes-Benz and Range Rover. There are speculations about Bishop Whitehead's history and bank account. The congregation at his church expressed love and support towards him in the wake of the robbery. After the robbery, Bishop Whitehead received questions about his history and flashy style. However, members of his congregation expressed support for him. The congregation for the bishop meets in a humble space located above a Hayaran restaurant in Brooklyn. Bishop Whitehead held a press conference last week and refused to give comments about his legal history. Bishop Whitehead refused to answer questions about his own legal history at a news conference, but instead directed reporters to an article in the New York Times. "I'm a miracle. I'm not supposed to be here today," according to him. Everybody wants to talk about what the tabloids are talking about and forget about the miracle. Bishop Whitehead welcomed scrutiny and declined to discuss legal troubles. He said, "The reason people can't figure me out is because they're trying to figure me out the wrong way. What you see is what you'll get." Bishop Whitehead's roots run deep in Brooklyn. The driver of a car insisted that his license was valid. This led to an officer overturning a table of fruit and the arrival of even more officers. However, it turned out this was all just an act. The driver's brother was in fact very respected in the neighborhood and had helped founded various company groups as well as job fairs. Arthur Miller tried to calm down a fight between 2 groups. While calming the situation, he was chokehold by police officers who took him back to the station and then forgot about him. He died in the car after being left there for an extended period of time. This led to protests and marches at his death. Mr. Miller left several children, including Lamor, who was a baby and took his mother's last name. Growing up as a young man on the mean streets of Brooklyn was not easy, according to Whitehead years later. being raised in a single-parent home without a father and expected to survive in a world that was designed for him to fail in. He attended Eastern New Mexico University, studied accounting, and returned to Brooklyn. He then went to work for a mortgage company in Manhattan. A woman called the Suffolk County Police Department and said someone had bought a motorcycle in Brooklyn in her name. A few days later, a police officer pulled over a man driving the same motorcycle. He discovered that the driver was a 27-year-old Lamor Whitehead. Mr. Whitehead used his knowledge of computer software to steal information that allowed him to access to people's personal data, and then sold that data. After logging into her computer, Whitehead stole credit card numbers and opened loans in other people's names. In preparation for a trial, the defendant pulled off more frauds. He was working at his Empire State Building office when Maximo Bragado Dorman and Julio Bragado Young hired him to help them close a brownstone case in Harlem. Mr. Whitehead had planned to pay back the $200,000 with an extra $25,000, according to the suit that followed. He watched over the deal so intently, which was executed by his son and completed smoothly with no glitches. Instead, Mr. Whitehead shared the bad news. He was not going to pay back the loan. It was almost guaranteed he was going to make money on this. Bragado Young referred to his father. Of Mr. Whitehead, he reacted, "He's a disgusting human being. You can quote me on that." For Mr. Whitehead, a steady 4-year run of fraud came crashing down after his bankruptcy in 2006. In 2008, Mr. Whitehead was found guilty of 17 crimes, mostly identity theft, and was sentenced to 20 years in prison. The symphony conductor filed a lawsuit in fall, and Mr. Whitehead was served his copy in Sing Sing Correctional Facility. The lawsuit led to a judgment of $306,000. After 5 years, Mr. Whitehead was released with a glowing behavioral record, and soon after, Leaders of Tomorrow Ministries was born. This ministry has the support of 43 people who met in his home for Bible study, according to his online biography. That's it for this video, TTP member. Remember to subscribe to our channel, and if you feel like we've delivered value, please share this video with one person. That's right, just one person, as a token of your appreciation for the hard work we put into making content that educates and helps you on your mission of building your own fortune. Remember, you can watch video after video, but it isn't until you actually take action that you'll start to see results. See you soon!